Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the blueprint behind some of the world's most successful companies. It's this formula that has built actual tech empires. And it leads to a pretty bold question. Could that same blueprint be used to build up the economy of an entire country, like Peru?
So when you think about these massive companies, what's the secret? I mean, Airbnb, Stripe, Dropbox, they've completely changed how we live and work. Now, you might think it's just a great idea or a lucky break, but the truth is there's something else. There's this kind of hidden architecture, a shared foundation they were all built on.
Yeah, that's right. Before they were these huge household names, they were all just little startups, and they all came from the exact same place.
And that place is called Y-Combinator. Now, if you haven't heard of it, think of it like the Harvard for tech startups. Seriously, it is the most influential accelerator on the planet, a real kingmaker in Silicon Valley.
And when I say influential, I mean it. The companies that have come out of Y-Combinator are worth combined over $600 billion. To put that in perspective, that is bigger than the entire economy of many countries. So we're not just talking about building a few cool apps, this is about shifting the global economy.
And that huge number starts to make sense when you see the names. We're talking about Airbnb, which totally redefined travel, Stripe, which powers so much of the internet's economy, Dropbox, Reddit, even the Latin American giant Rappi. Every single one of them got their rocket fuel from YC.
So what exactly is Y Combinator? Well, it's not just a bank that hands out money. It's more like an intense 3-month boot camp for startups. They give you that first critical investment, sure, but the real magic is the mentorship from people who've done it before and getting access to one of the most powerful networks in the world. Okay, so how on earth did they do it? What's the secret sauce that lets YC pick winner after winner and help turn them into these global phenomenons? Let's break down that formula.
You know, at its core, the entire YC philosophy really boils down to just 4 words. Build something people want. And that's not just some catchy slogan they put on a poster. It is their North Star. It's the one principle that forces founders to be absolutely obsessed with solving a real problem for a real customer.
And that mantra is backed up by this incredible system. First, YC bets on talented people, not just flashy ideas. Then, they surround those founders with elite mentors who've been in their shoes. They create this culture where everyone helps each other out, and that YC brand becomes like a golden ticket for future investors. And all of it is driven by this relentless cycle of building, testing, learning, and doing it all over again fast.
Okay, so that's the YC formula. It's powerful, no doubt. But here's the billion-dollar question. Can this Silicon Valley blueprint actually work anywhere else? To figure that out, let's go thousands of miles south, from California to Lima, and take a look at the entrepreneurial world in Peru.
Peru's startup scene is really a story of 2 sides. On the one hand, you've got this amazing potential bubbling up. You have great universities, a growing interest in new ideas, and these little tech hubs popping up. But on the other hand, you've got these huge hurdles. Not enough access to money, very few connections to the outside world, and a culture that's often afraid of the risk you need to take to build something big.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because you can't just copy and paste the Silicon Valley model and expect it to work. That's not the answer. The real key, the secret, is adaptation. It's about taking the powerful principles from YC and then shaping them to solve Peru's specific challenges.
So, what does that adaptation actually look like? Well, first, you build practical incubators right inside the universities. Then, you get the government and private investors to work together to create a fund for early-stage companies. You have to build those mentor networks from scratch, connecting local leaders with experts from around the world. You forge pathways to global markets. And maybe most important of all, you have to build a new culture. One where failure isn't the end, but is seen as a crucial step in the learning process.
So, who is going to lead this massive effort? I mean, that's a huge job. Well, it turns out there's one institution that's perfectly positioned to be the engine for all this change: the University Business School.
And why them? Well, it's pretty simple. They are the natural bridge between big academic ideas and the messy reality of the market. They live right in that sweet spot between theory and execution, and that is exactly where a startup community needs to be born.
And their real power comes from doing a bunch of things all at once. It's not just about teaching students, they are actively connecting that talent to private companies. They provide the space, the resources, the research, and the mentorship from professors and alumni. When you put all that together, they become the natural center of gravity for an entire startup ecosystem.
So when you think about it, you take the world's most successful startup formula and you combine it with the right local leadership. The potential is just immense. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could the founder of Peru's next billion-dollar company be sitting in a classroom right now just waiting for that spark?